What is up, y'all? I am back in prediction mode tonight and doing a sort of an unusual. Well, I've done media related personality predictions before, but it's been a while. So, yeah, I'm going to look at Andrew Tate tonight, which I don't know if you guys, my subscribers, actually know who he is because I feel like his audience is not my audience, because my audience is mainly, well, not mainly, but largely women, and his audience is mainly young, bitter young men. So I had never heard of him until about 2 months ago, and he just started to appear on my radar. And he's just kind of one of these people that I'm definitely not his audience, and it just kind of fascinates me that there is this clear. He does have some audience that is something that I can only relate to so much. These like bitter young men. So recently, though, he was arrested, and I wanted to look at real quickly just what we can expect to come from that arrest. Will he have any kind of serious criminal charges pressed against him and any kind of serious prison time, or will it just be kind of brushed aside and be forgotten quickly? So that's mainly what I want to look at tonight. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to dive into this because right now I didn't announce this, so nobody's here yet. And maybe I'll just get this done fast before anyone has arrived. So yeah, if you guys do know who he is, let me know what you think of him. I mean, it's not a question of whether I like him or not. I don't particularly like him. I think he's kind of yeah, he's just one of these viral instances, personalities that happens to be in our midst. So anyways, I'm going to look right now first at what card identifies most strongly with him, and try and put my own thoughts and opinions aside. He's one of those people that there's no middle ground, really. People either hate him or love him. I don't know who loves him, not me, but I'm going to try not to hate him. I'm just going to try and see the situation as it is. And let's see what comes up for his personality. I've seen a few of his interviews, and that's about it, all I know of him. Oh, and I looked at his website, which is, to me, laughable. As somebody who studies marketing and coercion and see how people are manipulated with all these things, like like I said before, I'm not his audience, and like I see right away what he's doing and how he does it and who he's targeting, but for me it's just laughable. It's just a joke. I'm not encouraging you to go to his website, but if you want, maybe you'll get a laugh out of it. So anyways, so the card that best personifies him in this moment, I believe right now he's still in custody in Romania by the police, so probably in jail or something. And I don't know. I don't really know the circumstances of whether he's going to be out on bail. I don't know. So, but I just want to see his overall position right now, where he's operating from. I guess for those of you who don't know who he is, he's, I guess, a former kickboxer, and now he's like a guru, influencer, media personality. That's just kind of a tell-all sign for these general influencers or people that are celebrities, mega celebrities. And I'm not getting an immediate read on anything for him, his personality. And I feel like anybody who finds this video, but who is a fan of Andrew Tate, who is like coming here expecting, is most likely going to attack me, because I'm definitely, my personality and my take on things is very at odds with his lifestyle and his aims in life. So anybody who uses cars to impress people, he's usually not somebody that can impress me. But let's see. I mean, my intuition is that he's a wands-oriented individual. But let's see. Because wands are known for creativity on the one hand, but also for being able to manipulate things. He's a pure snuck, says Monica. Thank you, Monica. I don't know what a snuck is, but I can figure out what a snuck is. That it's not something, not something positive. So, yeah, I tend to agree. Oh, here's a card that's definitely coming out. Interesting. So the Lovers is coming out, and the Lovers is a card that is about. It's not about him being. It's interesting because I've been reading about like how he kind of manipulates the women to come to his castle in Romania or wherever he's renting, and like the method that I heard that he uses is called the lover boy method or something, where he basically like promises them things to be there, but then when they arrive, he's not even there, and they have to come work at his castle or whatever, his mansion. And yeah, so I don't think though that's the Lovers. That's not what the Lovers means in the tarot. In the tarot, Lovers is about being under the will of larger powers at work. I think what I think how I'm seeing that relating to him is that he has these ideas. I talk a lot on my channel about reality tunnels. Let me write that, which is a concept that I mainly got from Robert Anton Wilson. Reality tunnels. See, Robert Anton, pretty much any Robert Anton Wilson book, he'll talk about reality tunnels. And it's this idea that he says what the thinker thinks, the prover proves. Like, so whatever you think, however you view the world, your mind's going to gather evidence that will see that and make that more of a truth to you, whether it's true or not. Like, and that we all inhabit different reality tunnels, and that sometimes they overlap, and sometimes there's mega cognitive dissonance between different reality tunnels. So I think with the Lovers, what I'm talking about, how this relates to him is that, he has very strong ideas about the world. He's always talking about the Matrix. A lot of these guys talk about the Matrix. They love that movie series because, and it can be applicable to just about any version of your reality. Like that, other people are not in the right reality. That they're not seeing truth. So it's very applicable to anyone, especially like I said, angry young men who is his fan base and who he relates to and who he talks to. Similar in some ways to Jordan Peterson, but Jordan Peterson is a little aiming for a little older demographic, I think, but very similar. Like a lot of young men with very little social experience because whatever, they don't have a father figure, they don't have friends, they kind of just I don't know if they're I don't want to like say they play video games all day. Like that's I don't play video games, but like I don't want to like pigeonhole people, because I know people that do play video games that are social, that are not like that. So I think that's kind of an easy take on things, to just label people as just doing this or just doing that. I think there's healthy ways to do things and there's unhealthy ways to do things. And I think what he's doing is appealing to more the pathological side of these the way things operate. There's like levels of development, and just because you're at a lower level doesn't mean you have to be unhealthy or that you're like wrong in some way. That's a stage that we all transcend and move through. But if you kind of like get stuck at certain stages, or if you kind of obsess about a certain stage, you can really lock you into it. And I think that's kind of what he does. He's good at appealing to these, like I said, these pathologies, which are basically about, at any stage, the pathologies basically come from not being able to identify the other in others. Like to see others only as the other, and not to see them as the self. And I think the healthy response is to be able to recognize that other people have aspects of themselves that you maybe lived through in the past and that were part of you, or maybe you may not be able to relate to them, but think about things that you've done in the past that maybe you necessarily were not able to relate to now because you've matured and changed. So the kind of like the healthy response to dealing with people that you don't understand is compassion and various ways of not judging them and like trying to listen to them and understand them, but also when you need to. Anyways, I'm going to move forward though. So in terms of the lovers, I think what I'm talking about with him is that he's basically operating from this very strong reality tunnel of how things are, and all these. I'm not saying conspiracy theories are wrong, and I'm not saying that. Like, there may be true conspiracy theories, but a lot of times there's not even enough evidence, or it's just I'm trying to put into words what is, I think, a much bigger talk than I really want to go on about tonight. But basically, with the reality tunnel of the lovers, is that he's operating from these systems which, if you want to find them on the internet, there's plenty of conspiracy theories, plenty of very, like I said, pathological roots to viewing the world. And basically, he's operating from that. And he believes everything that he teaches. I really believe that. He does. And that's what makes him so convincing to the people that like follow him, but it's also what makes him very dangerous in a lot of ways. So he right now, I believe, is in jail, not prison, but in jail. And I want to see, is there any likelihood of a prison sentence coming out of this, or is he going to like get off of this from just return and maybe like a small fine, or maybe, I don't know, but is there any likelihood of a serious prison sentence? I guess I'll define that as like 6 months or longer in prison. Is that any possibility of that, or will basically just you get a lawyer and be out in a few days? I feel like you guys that leave comments are usually so wonderful. Like you guys are like, I don't think you guys are really his audience either, because you're a very mature group, very feminine group, a lot of women, and he's definitely not the demographic that he aims for is definitely not women, and so I'm curious what you guys think of him. But I think if there was a topic that would kind of bring out of the woodwork people to kind of leave negative comments in the chat, this might be it. This might be what would be it. I've never had to like block somebody in the comments, but maybe this would be the topic that does it. It would just be practice for me. But so let's see, the possibility of prison time, any serious prison time, and again, well, that one came out. So I'm seeing the Nine of Cups, which is a very satisfied position, and this can be interpreted in different ways, but I'm seeing this as him being this character, which I don't see him getting any serious prison time. I think basically, yeah, he's going to be able to walk away from this more or less. Like he may have small fine or whatever, but I think he'll leave Romania, and yeah, for better or worse, I think he's going to be overall satisfied with this. This will allow him to, I think almost immediately he said something like the Matrix has attacked him or something. And so basically this is going to play into his reality tunnel, and his followers are going to basically see that. This is a very similar situation with any true believers online nowadays. Some people are going to cancel him, but for the most part, the people that were already behind him, they just think it makes him look more right. So I don't see him serving a lengthy prison term out of this. Maybe like a short time, like maybe 60 days or less, but I don't see a long And I say short because I think that would, in some ways, make him look kind of like a martyr and look like he's in the right, and that when he gets out, it'll be like redemption time for him and more followers and more people like glad to see him again. But yeah, so that kind of surprises me, but maybe I should do another read. I feel like I need to look at some other aspect of this. Yeah, let me see in 2023 the overall trajectory of his career. Will it increase, or will he suffer a serious cancellation from this and somehow face some kind of maybe not prison time, maybe he'll face some kind of monetary problem or something, who knows. So let's see what his overall trajectory in 2023 is going to look like. I think I'll do a 3-card reading of this. I'll look at his health, his overall fan base, and his money. I know he loves money. So let's look first at his health. I thought I read something about his health. So his health, 2023. Interesting. So I'm seeing a 4 of Swords. And with this relating to health, I'm seeing that like overall his energy level is very, very contracted and very non-dynamic, which is not good for your health. It is, I've talked about this before, like chi energy moving through your body, which is not the same as blood flow. It can correspond to blood flow, but it's not identical to that. But I do not see him living a healthy life. There's definitely a major blockage with his health. Let's look at his overall popularity and fan base and so on in 2023. Will that increase or will it decrease? Will people get tired of him, or will his overall demographic keep growing? I'm seeing the Queen of Wands, and in terms of like popularity, I think this is overall the Queen energy is about kind of being not having to like act so much. It's not a taking action card. It's more like just letting things come to you. And with a Wand card, I mentioned earlier that I thought he has a lot of Wand's energy and his ability to put scenarios and realities into the world and get people to buy into them. Maybe not you and maybe not me, but a large amount of some demographic that you can't ignore. Like it's so easy to like tempting to just ignore things that you don't understand when people have a big following. But for me, it's like fascinating because there's clearly something going on in the cultural zeitgeist that is allowing him to develop. And I think what it basically comes down to is, like I mentioned earlier, like it's this masculine, he's targeting young men who are, it is in a lot of ways like weaponizing or militarization of a group of people who feel like they are outsiders, they feel like they are not represented and that they're basically isolated. So he targets that. He makes himself seem like the only outlet, and that if they follow him, if they do what he says, they'll have wealth, they'll have cars. That he's appealing to this very specific, especially money. That's like his big thing. Like he shows that like if you can transcend the matrix, then you'll get this. Like he'll dangle the carrot in front of you, and that appeals to a lot of young men who feel like they have no recourse for finding a job. For a lot of these young men don't have no girlfriends, and like they're like they don't even have like a lot of friends, so they feel very ostracized from the world. And he says like, you know what? It's not your fault. It's the system, and if you follow my tactics, you can break out of the system, and then all these things that you don't have, you can have. and he says like, look at me, I've got all 30 whatever cars, and so some people they're like, wow, I want that. Some people are like, but you're still a jackass. But so um, so yeah, with his health, I'm seeing not a good sign. Very contracted health wise, and I think a lot of this comes down to the way that he focuses on the world is like just money and things like that. So, and then with his kind of popularity, though, I think that is, a Wands card, a royal wand, Queen of Wands is a very powerful card, and it's basically just energy that is still coming to him from all the things he says and does, because he's a very viral character that is very polarizing, and so he does appeal to a lot of people. And then finally, I'm going to look at his wealth in 2023. And I think this will be the last thing I look at, unless you guys have anything you want me to look at relating to him or relating to anything while I'm here. Overall wealth 2023. All right. Interesting. So I'm seeing a judgment card, which can be seen as like a judgment of. I feel like though this is relating to. It's kind of something when I talked about Kanye before, like. It's kind of a realization that money can only go so far and it only matters so much. So hopefully he'll have maybe this epiphany this year. I feel like there's something relating to money that he's gonna kind of be decentered from money in a very real way, and it may be similar to like what Kanye supposedly happened to him when he lost a bunch of money. So I don't see him like thriving in terms of money this year. I feel like there's some change in his personality. So hopefully, I always want everyone to develop and grow. I think that's the best we can hope, is that others will reach new levels of growth, because even if you don't like them, if they have a big following, then they can help their followers grow a little too. Maybe not a lot, but a little. And if they are able to shift the focus of their energy. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for him. Let me just recap for anyone that didn't see the beginning of this. Basically, I looked at his possibility of prison time. I didn't see any major prison time. Like at the most, I think under less than 60 days. I don't see him doing any serious prison time. And I looked at his kind of trajectory in 2023. His health does not look very good. Very I think that's not uncommon when your focus is sports cars and things like that. So I think that's where that's stemming from. And then with his popularity, I see that kind of increasing in some ways. Not without him even really doing anything, because he's just a viral character. And then finally, I looked at his money, and I see not a major growth in his money, but I see some kind of a judgment in which is usually about some epiphany that allows him to see money in a different way. So I'm hoping that it does signal some kind of growth on his part. I wish him well. I don't particularly like him, but I do wish him well, and that's the best I can do. People have said before that I don't have bias, but I do clearly have bias, and this article came up in the news about him, and I was curious to see what would come of it, and that's what I'm seeing. So thank you all for tuning in, and maybe I'll do another reading on him down the line. Who knows? Bye.